immense pleasure to moderate this session. We had two interesting keynote topics. All of us are aware of the importance of artificial intelligence. So the very domain of artificial intelligence itself was incubated for about 60 plus years. What started as a Dartmouth project in US way back in 56, it took several elements to come together to become a usable tool for the society. Even in the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Laboratory, sometime in the early 2010, 2011, the ImageNet project, which was collating several images, annotating them, tagging them, all that could not be used for a productive purpose. The use case was not found that easily. So they had to wait and conduct some hackathon, invite the experts working on other domains like convolutional neural networks, and the power of NVIDIA's computing, the chip, all this have to come together to get some meaningful solutions. When the technology itself had a long gestation, the use cases, the potential applications, the productive outcomes that to impact the society, it's again interesting times we are in. And it's also said there are two categories of people. One, those who are going to use artificial intelligence tools. The other ones who will be the creators. The creators are going to be the minority, and that's where our incubation fraternity will be closely working with. And we are, since both Andrew and Ling have spoken widely about the various aspects of artificial intelligence, it's a very wide landscape, but the next 15-20 minutes, we are going to view these opportunities and challenges through the incubation lens. This also has democratized the opportunity for everyone. And so there are two categories of startups. As on today, it's said about 3% of startups in India, 150,000 or 160,000 startups is the population. 3% of them are working on artificial intelligence. And the others, whenever you receive a pitch for incubation, at least 7, 8 out of 10 have artificial intelligence or ML, and talk about digital adoption for SMEs. So how do you foresee the opportunity for artificial intelligence adoption, artificial intelligence, and they're working on the core sectors? Could you just...
Thank you, Vala, for this opportunity. I must say that both the presentations were great insights into the entire setup. Now your question whether how would those who are not actually using AI would actually be able to leverage and benefit, and that too from an incubator's perspective. Actually, it's a very challenging task. It's very challenging times for all the incubators as well. So at this point of time, I'll give you a statistic. Out of the 100 proposals that we get, AI is such a hyped work that almost 80% of those decks have AI or machine learning as a word embedded into those decks. Now, what is happening here is that there's a lot of financial thrust which is coming in from the VCs, from the government as well, and a lot of that onus is going to come onto the incubators. So it is actually more of a challenge for the incubators to upskill themselves first, to ensure that whatever is coming to them is rightly AI or not. So AI is actually playing at multiple levels. It is playing at the LLM level. It is again playing at generative AI level. Then it is playing at a wrapper level as such. So the challenges that we have to face as an incubator are first to be addressed for us to help all those who are actually not using using AI as a tool. Now coming back to that aspect of how they can leverage whatever they are not as an incubator, it is our responsibility, because you would see with AI coming in, the speed at which the TRL levels used to move from 1 to 5, 4, 5, 6, and 7, that is going to pace up. So now for market validation, for initial prototype development, if it is a software setup or a prototype development, what used to take 3 months is probably going to take 15 days to 20 days, or let's say 30 days per se. If it comes to any of the other aspects wherein there used to be a founder which did not have much technical knowledge or just technical knowledge but no business knowledge, thanks to AI, he would have access to all that business knowledge, making the TRL move up the TRL levels much faster. So as incubators, it would be our responsibility to first understand AI at depth level, and then help all those startups who are not using generative AI to make them understand how they can leverage that to outpace their competition, fasten up their speed from TRL 1 to TRL 4, 5, or whatever levels are there as such. But the first onus is on us to upskill ourselves.
Aspect also brings me back to what Andrew spoke about in his presentation about skills. You also certainly mentioned government should think on that. But what Ojasvi is talking about is predominantly the skilling the incubation team to handle the emerging needs. So what are those baby steps that would be required from the incubator management to skill their core team so that they first understand the basic aspects?
The incubation management team played a very, very important role. Because why? The incubation management team need to keep abreast on what's happening with technology today. So definitely, we have to upskill ourselves, improve our knowledge on AI, and disseminate this information not just to the incubatee, but also to the market in general. Because the incubation manager or the incubation team actually connects the incubatee with the market. So if the market is not ready, then we have a disconnection. Now, if you look back 30 years ago, or maybe 20 years ago, we talk about digitalization. I talked about digitalization 20 years ago. And that was an uphill battle, right? It's an uphill battle. But yes, some do adopt digital strategy. Those days were ERP, right? ERP, CRM. CRM wasn't that popular actually, but ERP, yes. Okay? So, and 20 years ago, I was dabbling with AI. But AI, when I was doing my time, I actually failed in my business because of AI. So people are not ready. But then again, the clock is moving faster than what we were 20 years ago. So we are running against time. Now we are moving into IR 4.0. And a lot of our SMEs, our traditional business, are not even IR 3.0. They're probably IR 2.0. So we have to work very closely together, not just among ourselves as incubator managers, but also with the government. The government has important role to play to educate the industry that they have to upscale. They need to improve. Because if you don't improve, you will die. And what we see today in our economic, GDP and so on that goes up and down, is economic transformation. Our entire economy is transforming. In Malaysia, the government finally realized that and start to look into AI. We are building AI data centers in Malaysia, right? And in Southeast Asia, that is where the gold mine is. AI data centers, cloud data centers, okay? So the government is realizing that, and they realize that they also need to upskill not only the talent, but also businesses. They have to create the awareness. And the Ministry of Human Resources actually estimated that they have to upskill a few million employees to be ready for the next wave, which is AI. We have long way to go. But we can only start, we have to prepare, as I mentioned earlier, we have to prepare and get started now. Because if we are not, then we are in trouble. The whole country will be in trouble. Right? So he who controls data, that's where you get your competitive advantage. And of course, those who are creators of AI, you also have an important role to play. Because why? You have to work together with us right? Where we have the linkages to the market to educate the market. Make sure we are present there. Every day we have to shout out AI. And then one day the world will wake up because they realize that AI is overtaking everybody. So business at the speed of thought, when you talk about the information age, it lasted 20 years. But AI, 5 years. 5 years. And it's already reached the kind of level in the days of Bill Gates. So Bill Gates used to say, if I were to redo Microsoft again, I will look into AI. So that shows it is a very, very important thing for the human race.
You also spoke about virtual incubation and opportunities of using AI. And so one of the important services an incubator can offer to the startups is access to market. How do you leverage the power of AI for facilitating market access?
Yes, sure. Thank you for the question. I'm sure that we have been working into support our startups by pulling up the data on the global market opportunities, right? But when in the old time, we have to look for the published market statistics from a certain brand, a certain company that they do market survey. But right now, in order to get going faster, I think AI help accumulate those kind of data and pinpoint which market you should go first. And even more, what kind of compliance you need to be prepared. When you go penetrate the new market, it's not just you export your product there and then it works, right? So there are a lot of compliance involved. So that's something startups can be prepared ahead of time. And even more, if the startup knows that it's too complicated for them to go into that market, it comes to their strategies. What they need to rethink if the market that they think it's big enough, but at the end of the day, it might not the target that their products or services can fit in. So it would help in either way, decision making and preparation.
Let me add on to that. Just recently in E3, my company, I've actually commissioned an AI company to study the noise in the market. But of course, for us, it's about entrepreneurship. And we will identify all the millions of keywords to come up with a profile and what are people talking about, and also understanding entrepreneurial needs.
So it's more like social listening.
Yeah, that's right. We're doing that. And that is my first experience using AI.
Okay. Yeah.
I just want to add on with a quick case study here. One of our startups, he used to do outreach across multiple economies as such. But when AI came in, he used one of the tools to hyper-personalize the approach to each one of his stakeholders. Right, and his outreach, the results of the outreach dramatically increased by 60%. So that is one of the aspects of AI and the tools which are there, which can actually increase your efficiency. So what you used to do earlier with, let's say, 80% of the resources, now you can do it with 20% of the resources with a much better
results and outcomes.
Efficiency.
Yeah.
So for want of time, the next round will be a pretty quick one, just one-liner bullets. And so what will be one or two top AI adoption priority for your incubators you are associated with?
As an AI priority, first one would be upskilling of the incubation setups as such, and then hyper-personalization of advice to incubatees, so that it is not, so you can actually customize the advice with respect to the business stage, scale, and requirement to that particular setup. So that's something that we're going to move on to.
Ling?
Yeah, from what we listen to the community we are working with, there are two aspects we are implementing and will be one of the flagship initiatives for the community that we work on right now. First, it's AI Power Platform. It's going to be a back end of the incubation to use AI as part of their day-to-day operation. So you can track the growth of the startups to check the milestones they commit with you from the beginning, and also to see the progress of their business development. Secondly, would be around the market access data. So we partnering with Google in Thailand to do global landscape monitoring on which products has been exported to which country in what scale. So now we have that landscape ready. If you are in the business who are producing that products or services, it would help them to foresee opportunities across the world.
Yeah. Andrew.
Oh, I'm waiting for Lynn. Why I'm saying that is because we wanted to build our own incubation management system exactly to do the same thing. But when I heard Thailand is doing it, I said, why not I just use Thailand technology and not, yeah, so we can collaborate together. And the interesting part is that when we put in 1 million of our entrepreneurs into the system, right, then we will be able to learn a lot. And this is the global system. So yeah, then later we will leverage on the AI.
Yeah, thank you, Ojasvi, Ling, and Andrew, for being a fantastic panelist and sharing your interesting insights.
Bala, we've missed out on your views. All three of us have given our views. We've missed out on your views now.
See, quickly, I think from general intelligence, now it's generative AI. I think it's moving towards organized AI. So every transition will have its own challenges, and post-COVID, we also had a lot of difficulty in the space-based incubation services, now virtual. So this is going to be an interesting tool, but how do we use it and how do we adopt even ethical aspects, all that were spoken about. I think let's be prepared to meet realities. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.